Hey everyone, this is Know Your Potential, NYP episode 13, and we'll be taking this episode to talk about Bitcoin, Coinbase, and what the hell Let's Fucking Go mentality is. Welcome to the show.
You're listening to Know Your Potential with David and Phil Ngo, your source for motivational insight and discussion of all things relating to business, technology, and life. We banter and interview like-minded individuals striving to be the best version of themselves, generate value for society, and achieve the life they want to live.
Hey everyone, it's Phil Ngo here.
Hey everyone, and we've got David Ngo here as well. Disclaimer before we start, I've got COVID. So anybody who's listening right now, be careful, stay 2 meters away from me. It's very fucking contagious right now. So just wanted to throw it out there before we start.
I was going to ask why your voice sounded a bit different today. It sounds a little bit like stuffy or...
I'm not going to lie. Honestly, like everything is hurting, aching. It's not fun right now. I even wanted to cancel recording this with you today, but I said, fuck it. Let's fucking just do this. Let's get it over with. And not to mention, I guess this is more authentic right now, right? With this whole feeling like shit and everything. So I'll give you guys a rundown on how I feel after. And hopefully you guys avoid catching COVID, guys.
Yeah, this is legit like the let's fucking go mentality. David is still showing up as he has COVID doing shit because he cares.
That's what it is. You got to do it no matter what, no matter how shitty you're doing. If you're not dying, show up, guys. Just fucking show up.
That's it. That's it. And guess who else showed up, Dave? Bitcoin.
Bitcoin showed up real hard.
Real hard at 64K it topped.
So Bitcoin reaches new all-time highs, a bit over 64K recently. Unfortunately, it dropped back down to I think 61 something now, but the fact that it reached that high is amazing in itself.
It's pretty crazy because today was also the Coinbase IPO, which is hotly, or not necessarily an IPO, but like a direct listing on the NASDAQ. But they basically went public today, which is
they opened at what $380 today, and a lot of people were expecting a huge rush. Some people were expecting the price to get up to as high as $600. That didn't happen at all.
Well, that's the thing. I think at $350 a share, Coinbase is valued at a $100 billion valuation. So like, if you think about what $100 billion is, I'm pretty sure that's more than what the New York Stock Exchange is worth.
Yeah, you were saying it's about like 10% of all the value of Bitcoin itself. So that is pretty crazy when you put it into perspective like that.
Yeah, I mean, like Bitcoin at its market cap is 1.2 trillion around this price, and you're telling me that Coinbase is worth almost 10% of Bitcoin's market value. So it's kind of like, okay, well, let's take a step back here and not necessarily just throw our money into the craze, right?
Well, clearly a lot of people felt the same way you did. That's why it went up as high as 424, dropped all the way down to like 311. So that's like a 25% drop in one day, which is pretty much what crypto is, right? So welcome to the world of crypto for anybody who's buying this stock.
Well, there's not much difference when it comes to the traditional markets and crypto, it sounds like.
No, they pretty much go hand in hand with Bitcoin right now. I mean, at the same time, Bitcoin did drop quite a bit during the same time. So I don't know if it had any correlation, which I think it did though, but it dropped to 311, finished around 330. So not the best, not terrible, but definitely not good.
Who knows? Like the only thing that I can go off of is that we're in a third lockdown here. So everyone's probably staring at a computer screen, watching this thing go up and down. And it's pretty nuts because this is like a huge third wave that's happening right now in Canada. And we're all kind of just glued to our screens. And what else is there to look at except the price of Bitcoin?
Yeah, that's what it is right now. It's the whole UK variant, I think they're saying, or the Brazilian variant. Honestly, there's so much goddamn COVID out there right now. I don't know which is which. Some people kept asking me, which variant do you have? Which, and for me, I'm just like, fuck, I fucking have COVID right now, guys. I don't know which goddamn variant I have. I feel like shit right now. And I didn't care to ask what type of COVID I had when someone just told me you have COVID. Like to me, it was a big shock when I first heard about it, right? So yeah, guys, it's pretty much, again, stay the fuck away from COVID. Try to be safe and smart. And it's not a good feeling when you when you catch COVID.
There you go. You heard it first from a guy from straight from the horse's mouth, as they call it, right? So, but it's crazy because like this is a third lockdown in Canada, and a lot of it can be attributed to our colossal failure of a vaccine rollout, and this whole variant is just going out of control. And David was actually the one who introduced me to what this let's fucking go mentality is. And a lot of it had come about during the periods of lockdown, because it's hard. You can't even go to the gym, to get fit.
Yeah, so just give a bit more context as to what this whole LFG mentality is. So pretty much there's this guy, amazing motivator. His name is Jonathan Epstein. And pretty much he just started this whole LFG mentality thing. I think it was around January of 2021. So really just a few months ago. And what it was, I reached out to him. I told him, hey, you know what? I haven't gone running in a long time and I'm kind of scared to go running just because it's been so long, He told me to go running with him and he motivated me to go running and I started to run with him. And from there, we became friends. He did this LFG mentality where he was started pretty much getting a whole bunch of people who wanted to get together, set goals, and pretty much work on these goals in the next 21 days. So originally his first challenge was 30 days. He realized that 30 days was a little bit long for people. So people got bored or tired by the end of it. So he ended up with 21 days. And pretty much in the 21 days, you set up a whole bunch of goals. You have big goals, you have medium goals, and you have small goals. And pretty much you want to tackle your big goals as much as possible. And the great thing about all of this, it's not a competition. There's no failing. There's no, definitely there is winning. But pretty much, again, the thing is there's no one competing against anyone or trying to be better than the other person. The idea behind this is really just setting goals, setting a target, and trying to work towards those targets and seeing how close you are to hitting it and how far you are from actually hitting it. Because again, if you have no goals, no targets, and you kind of just aimlessly go, you don't know if you're actually doing good enough, if you're actually achieving anything, or you're kind of just slacking and saying, oh, it's good enough, it's fine. And it's, again, having goals just pretty much pushes you to where you have to go.
Yeah, and this really is just like a great sort of attribute to have as any human being, basically, but especially for us being entrepreneurs. A lot of the times we find that it's very difficult for us to necessarily do things if we don't have goals set for us. There's no like target up there, right? So I find that when we set goals for ourselves, it makes it a lot easier because now you have something to actually try and achieve.
But one of the coolest thing with this whole LFG mentality is that there's quite a few other people who are also in doing this challenge as well. So what's great is that we're all kind of in an Instagram group where we all have different goals. Again, it doesn't have to be physical goals. It could be reading. It could be self-love. It could be just organizing your home. It could be really anything you want. Your goals is pretty much your own goals. But again, the great thing is you are surrounded with like-minded people that are all around the world pretty much. And these people just want to achieve their goals and they want to support each other and help each other out and pretty much commend you when you accomplish some of your goals, no matter how small or big it is. So again, in a world of negativity, it's nice to have a group of positive people continually supporting and telling you to keep pushing further, keep doing well. And when you see all these other people pretty much talking about their little wins, it motivates you to want to go out there and try to get some of your own wins also, right? So again, it's one of those, monkey see, monkey do, if you want to call it. And when you're seeing all these guys achieving their goals, no matter how big or small it is, it motivates you to want to step up your game as well. So again, having this group, or since I've started, has been amazing. I've achieved quite a bit of goals. Some are bigger and some are smaller, but at the end of the day, if I didn't do any of this, I would just be aimlessly pretty much going and saying I'm doing things without really knowing if I accomplished anything in that sense.
Mm-hmm. Really, like you are who you surround yourself around, right? And
Absolutely.
it's very interesting because now that we're especially in our third lockdown now, a lot of us have had a really hard time meeting other people, doing things with other people. So by having this group, it almost feels like you're part of a community or like a friend circle again, something that a lot of us have lacked through the last year, pretty much.
Yeah, and honestly, again, pretty much saying, going back to how people are, posting their accomplishments or their trainings. Trust me, prior to doing this, I was not able to run, I don't think, like more than 1 kilometer without stopping. Honest to God, I could not run 1 kilometer without huffing and puffing and stopping. But since joining this group, there's a whole bunch of other people who also run and they're posting their runs and their times and how much they ran for. And since joining the group, the most I ever was able to run, I think it's like 12 or 13 kilometers. So for me, that's completely mind blowing. For a guy who was not able to even run 1 kilometer before. But again, all this comes back to hearing all these other people do it and kind of telling yourself, fuck, if he can do it or she can do it, why can't I do it? Or let me keep trying, And again, seeing these people work so hard just makes you want to work just as hard, or else you feel like you're disappointing the group is what it is.
And the great thing about it is that, everybody sets their own goals and stuff like that. It just makes it so great because at the end of the day, you do what is good for you, and only sort of what you're capable of achieving, and like you can feel and listen to your own body and do what works for you. But it's such a great feeling to know that there are people out there who you've never met in real life before. And they're just here to support each other through the hard times, and just having some sort of a real social interaction with people to get through this pandemic.
Yeah, and even for you, right? So pretty much prior to you joining this, you haven't ran for how long was it?
Yeah, so I left the military in 2018, and I honest to God hate running with my life. Like it's one of the worst activities I found, unless I was like playing soccer or something that like a dog chasing a ball kind of thing. If it was just straight up running, like I would be bored. And I always had flat feet. So flat feet is basically when your feet is it's just
You don't have the arch. You don't have the arch.
Yeah, I don't have the arch. And then I keep getting blisters and all this stuff. And anyways, what it came down to was I was just making excuses for myself about why I don't want to run, why I shouldn't run, and all this kind of BS that prevented me from ever buying a real pair of running shoes and actually going out and trying it.
So I'll fill you in a little secret here as to also why I hated running and why I'm so scared by it. Once upon a time when I was in, I believe, grade school, I would say grade 5 or 6, I joined one of those run for the school. I think it was like 2 kilometers, and it was cool. It was fun with a whole bunch of different classmates, and we got to do the 2-kilometer run. So the crazy shitty thing is, I don't run. I don't know how to run. I don't know how to do I didn't do any sports at all, but I wanted to join and have fun with my friends. So I did this, this race, this 2-kilometer race. I think it took me almost like 30 minutes to do 2 kilometers. And I was literally like top 5 last people on this run. So that really scarred me for running and made me think I hate running. Running is not for me. It's so embarrassing. I think I had some people laugh at me also, pretty much saying, yo, how the fuck did you, end up being like near the last? And that pretty much made me not want to ever run again. But luckily, that didn't hold me down, right? That was like a glass ceiling I gave myself. But since meeting this group and meeting Jonny Epstein and all these other people, it really definitely gave me the motivation, the drive, the energy to, push myself outside of my limits. And so again, super appreciative and grateful for having this group, just because again, I think we all have a glass ceiling we give ourselves. It's an excuse. I don't know if we're lazy. I don't know if it's from past experience, but having people kind of help you break this glass ceiling is one of the most amazing feeling. And you really feel so grateful and appreciative of having people around that are there genuinely trying to help you, get better in life is what it is.
Yeah, for sure. Because part of this challenge is not just actually going out there to do it, but like it's supposed to also change your mindset in how you think about things. And a lot of it is the problem with making excuses or not doing something, not finishing it, is usually a problem that you put on yourself. And you are really the only person who is accountable for pushing you to your limits. And if you're not going to push yourself, nobody else is going to push you for you, basically. Just be accountable for what you are. If you feel fat, if you feel like you're not fit, you feel like crap, start changing some things about your life. And no one's going to do this for you. No one's going to start feeding you, healthy food. No one's going to beat your butt to wake up and go out for a run. This is not the military, but you should, but you should be able to have that mentality if you really want to change something about yourself. And I think this is what this challenge is really good at bringing out.
And I think one of the main things that we all keep saying in these challenges also is keeping yourself accountable, right? I mean, we're all so used to playing victim. Like you said, I have flat feet, I can't run. I have this problem, I can't do that. Again, it's just so many excuses people can make every single day. I can't go to the gym because I don't have time to go to the gym. I can't eat healthy because I don't have time to make anything. But again, it all comes back down to, instead of saying I don't have time, one of the things I've learned to say was pretty much, this is not a priority to me. And that is a reason why I'm not making time for it. Because the reality is we all have the same 24 hours, right?
Right.
So why are some people able to do it and not able to do it? Well, the ones who are doing it, they either put it in their schedule and then keep themselves accountable, and they say, this is important to me. I've scheduled it in my calendar and I have to make sure that I'm going to go do this, because if I don't, I'm disappointing myself. Again, there's nobody else to disappoint other than yourself. But the best thing is when you actually do what you say you're going to do, you feel amazing after. So again, for the first time I ever ran 5 kilometers, I felt like I was floating. It was unbelievable. I came home. I told Kathy, it was the happiest I've ever been. Eventually, again, a few weeks after that, I ran 10 kilometers. And to me, that was mind blowing. Like running 10 kilometers to me, or being able to run nonstop for an hour, and literally nonstop. It's not like jog a little, stop a little, jog. No, it's nonstop 1 hour for me, 10 kilometers. I was just, my mind was blown. Kathy was super happy and proud. And since then, I think she's also done a 10 kilometer, first time in her life also. So again, really, really, really important to have like-minded, supportive people around you who want to see you achieve, because these people are the ones that will give you that little extra push sometimes when you're waking up and you're not feeling like it. But when you hear them, all right, let's go do this, let's go do that, you don't want to disappoint them. You don't want to disappoint yourself. So again, find people that have like-minded goals with you, because that will definitely is a difference between being able to succeed at what you're trying or failing, is really what it is in my opinion.
Yeah, for sure. And there's absolutely no shame in going out and seeking that kind of help with other people, because at the end of the day, like, I mean, I can go out and just do like a normal bike ride, but if you're sitting on like a Peloton and you're in a class and there's someone's pushing you, or there's goals to obtain, that's a completely different way of doing something. And when you have that sort of community, that sort of social aspect, and with those goals backing what you are doing, amazing things happen. And I mean, like for me, when I started this, I was embarrassed. I could not even run 2.5 kilometers when I started this. And I was like, man, I used to do this all the time in the military and I just lost it. And like, what happened? And it really was just those excuses that I put roadblocks in front of myself, and I gave myself excuses to say why I hate running. And you know what? At the end of the day, who cares if I hate or if I love running? At the end of the day, I can run. And the reason why I can run is because I put all those barriers aside, and I had a group of people who, pushed each other to make themselves better in some shape or form. And went out there, bought a $200 pair of running shoes, like a legit pair of running shoes to help fix
You invested. You weren't messing around.
Yeah, I wasn't messing around, because flat feet suck. So if you want proper running shoes so you can actually run, well, go out there, put the money in. Now you're not only mentally, but financially invested in actually completing these goals. And like just recently, I mean, did my fastest pace and longest pace within like the last week. So
that's amazing. Congratulations. Congratulations, Phil.
It's all consistency. At the end of the day, like, you just got to push yourself, and this group is actually really amazing at pushing each other to make sure that you keep showing up and do what you're supposed to do. And I mean, if it's not running, it can be something else. Like I became a stem cell donor now, for example.
Oh, nice.
Like hitting all these like other goals, just to, like, it's not even just about me, it's about other people too, right?
Yeah.
It's been a very negative world for the last year. So whatever kind of goals you can set, not just for yourself, but to help somebody else, is, I'm sure, appreciated in this time of year.
Absolutely. It's been a breath of fresh air, just being around people who are not just constantly talking about the negative stuff about COVID and how it's so shitty and how it's such a bummer for everybody. Instead, everybody is every day just talking about the little 30-minute training they did, the yoga that they did, the walk that they went on, the salad that they ate. Again, seeing all these things just kind of makes you feel like, all right, everybody's doing their part. It's time for me to do my part, right?
Well, I don't know about you, David, but I'm probably one of the fittest, like in most, like the most fittest shape. I don't know if that's even a proper saying, but like I feel the most, the most fit I've ever been in a long time. And it's a lockdown. I don't have a gym to use, like there's absolutely no excuse for why you can't be stronger than you were like a year ago. The only person that's stopping you is you. And you making those excuses to say, oh, it's quarantine and I don't have a gym, I don't have weights and all that BS. like that's you convincing yourself that you can't do something. And I think that's the mentality that needs to change. And that's what LFG mentality is.
Absolutely. You know what? I mean, just to
Yeah.
let you in on a little secret, I have been only training at home with my trainer via Zoom for the past, I guess, like 13, 14 months now since lockdown. And I invested into a whole bunch of gym equipments via Amazon. So again, not cheap, not expensive, but at the end of the day, my health is worth the investment. And how I always see when I purchase any of these type of things is one of those, I paid so much dollars for it, but the reality of it is it doesn't turn into $0. If I really ever wanted to, I could resell it and recoup back most of my money. So again, for anybody who's afraid of investing into any gym equipment, guys, please don't, just because you've spent a lot more money going to fancy restaurants and eating that, and it's gone within a night. You've gone to clubs where you bought $300 bottles where it just disappeared. So again, I think my whole gym setup here, I'd say, is maybe like $2,000 or 2,000 some bit, right? But shared between Kathy and I. So one of the best thing I ever did was pretty much invest into my home gym. And like you, this is the most fit I've ever been in my life. I actually have like a 6-pack showing. And to me, this was unfathomable, completely unfathomable. I've never, ever thought that I would ever have abs. I called myself Chubby Dave, or a lot of people called me Chubby Dave back in the days when I was growing up. So having abs now to me is just, when I look in the mirror, I don't even know who I am. I don't recognize myself. If only younger me knew how I would turn out to be older, life would have been a lot better. But again, growing up as a kid, as a chubby fat kid, it really fucked with my head. And so now feeling this way, the best I've ever felt, the happiest I've ever felt, the most proud I've ever felt. And 100%, I have to say, a lot of this has to do with, first of all, Kathy, because Kathy's super fit in doing all this good stuff. Second of all would be my coach, Chris Pommier. Then there's also Jonathan Epstein, of course, and this whole LFG challenge. So 100%, spend the time, invest it into yourself, trust the process, just keep doing it every single day. And after a year or so, before you know it, you'll be down like 15, 20 pounds, you'll have muscle, you'll have better cardio, you have so many improvements that, again, all it started with was the first step you took, the first time you bought those shoes to go running for that 1 kilometer. From that 1 kilometer after a year, I guarantee you'll probably be able to run 10 kilometers like it's nothing.
Yeah, for sure. And David actually showed the group a photo from back in the day. How old were you back then? Like 23, Dave?
This is 2008. Yes, I was 23 and I was round and pudgy. I didn't see that picture until just recently because I'm, cleaning the house right now, organizing because we're in lockdown, or I'm in isolation right now, right? So when that picture came on, I looked at it. I'm like, oh wow, my face like is twice the size of the face of Kathy's face. I'm like, geez, I can't believe that she was actually like kissing me and married to me and all that stuff. I'm like, I must have been very cool and funny for her to like have stuck with me. But again, I think we both, what do you call it? The glow up is what people are calling it. The glow up is real. So we got pretty lucky on that one.
Well, yeah, I didn't want to say it in the group, but I legit saw a double chin in that photo.
Yeah, for sure. Maybe even a triple, to be honest.
Yeah, wow. It's just, it's so crazy because like you look back at that and it's like, wow. Like I even have a photo very similar to that. It's just like literally like I have a childhood photo of me being really super fat, going out on this family vacation to Niagara Falls. And it's just this really pudgy looking Asian kid who's just not happy to be in this photo. And then the next photo that you see is me with an ice cream as like the happiest fat kid in the world. So
with all of this being said, saying, how amazing this LFG mentality group is, they, Jonny Epstein and the LFG mentality are always still taking members. We are doing it. The LFG challenge is they do it once a month. And again, it lasts 3 weeks. And after the 3 weeks, there's a 1 week off. So again, you don't have to join every single challenge. This is my 5th challenge I'm doing right now. And again, like I said, there's a reason why I did the first one, second, third, and the 5th one now. There's a real reason why, just because being surrounded by all these people really motivated me to want to be better and do better. And like I said, the best I've ever looked and felt and happiest right now. So why stop something that's working so well, right?
Right.
So
exactly.
The question now is for anyone that wants to know, how do you join this thing? So with this 21-day challenge, let me check. I think the last day for this 21-day challenge is, I think, like May 2nd. And then the one that's going to start again after, I think it's like Monday, May 10th. So for anybody who wants to try out this whole LFG mentality and see what it's about, You can sign up. You can sign up by May 10th is when it starts, so probably a week before. And again, trust me, if you've never done anything like this, you won't regret it. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? You join it, you try it. If it doesn't work out, you never do it again. But if you try it and it works and you completely change your life for the better, was it not worth the try? So again, how I always see things in life, we're all one decision away from living a completely different life. And for me, it was really, talking to Epstein and letting him know I wanted to go running because, I don't want to sound tacky and say he changed my life, but just the whole running with him kind of lit a bit of a spark in me, which allowed me to keep doing more and running and doing everything else, which I was very proud of myself. So definitely doing this LFG challenge changed my life, if you want to say that.
Yeah, and it's definitely like changed mine too. And honestly, thank you for introducing me to that group, because it has allowed me to do something that that I hadn't done in a long time and was just making excuses to not do. And now I'm pretty much running like these sort of crazy numbers that I don't think I even did back in like high school or even when I was at my fittest point in my life. So this is such a great thing for me to be able to see for myself and know that you are really capable of doing what you want, but the only person that's stopping you is really just you. So
Absolutely.
you got to get over that hurdle, and that's honestly going to make you a much better person. You're going to love yourself more for it. And this is why we're doing this episode, just telling you what this LFG challenge is and why this mentality will change your life.
Yep, absolutely. So for anybody who's interested, you can contact Jonny Epstein on Instagram. His Instagram name is Jonny Eps, spelled JONNYEPS. And honestly, this guy, he's amazing. He's cool. He's a great motivator. He really knows how to make sure you stop making excuses for yourself. And he's very direct, but again, kind in every way possible, also generous and very caring. I think the most important thing is actually caring. So that's why he makes it a lot easier. So for anyone who's interested and possibly interested in turning their life around, if they're in a slump, if they're not feeling well, not for anything, there's a lot of people who are single that are in our group also, because if anything, I think the single people during this pandemic need a group of good people around them the most, if anything,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And sometimes actually the people who are meanest to you are doing it out of care as well. Right.
Yeah.
So that, it really is like the hard truth sometimes that a lot of people don't understand. And I think David also sent me this amazing book that I'm still reading right now. I haven't actually finished it. But it's an amazing story about what actually I think even started the LFG mentality, right, Dave?
Yeah. So for Jonny Epstein, he pretty much treats this David Goggins book as his Bible of sorts, pretty much, right? It's one of those things of just saying, stop playing the victim and start being accountable for yourself, because whatever victim you think you are right now, whatever problems you are having, there are people who have problems that are 1,000 times worse, and they were able to get themselves out of those problems and become something or make themselves better and happy by it. So how is it possible that those guys can do it and you can't? So it's really one of those, just get the fuck out of your head of saying you're a victim and you can't this, you can't that because of this situation, because of that, and start saying, listen, I'm going to go, I'm going to try. If I fail, so be it. Every time I fail, I'm going to learn a little bit from this failure and hope to not fail the same way the next time, or hope to be a little bit better the next time also, right?
Right. Yeah, it's a great book. It's called Can't Hurt Me, Master Your Mind and Defy the Odds by David Goggins. And I would highly recommend everybody take a read of that book when you can.
Yeah. So one of the problems now, which is I got a curveball, as I mentioned, I have COVID right now. So Kathy and I both have COVID. So now this whole LFG challenge number 5 is starting as of Monday. I feel like shit right now. Kathy's been getting better. Just today or yesterday, I fucking lost my scent and my taste, my smell and taste, and it really fucking sucks, guys. Like, I've never really thought too much into it, what it's like to not have taste or smell. I've heard about it, but never really look too deep into it. But I think it was yesterday when I was having lunch and I put Tabasco on it and I was eating it and I was like, huh, I really don't taste that it's spicy at all. I don't taste anything. And I made Kathy try it, and she's like, I'm not sure. So we both kept eating. We kept trying to smell stuff. And then we realized, fuck, I can't taste anything. I can't smell anything. And I got really, really, really fucking sad, maybe even borderline depressed for a little bit. Just kind of like, as I was eating it, I knew what it's supposed to taste like and what it's supposed to smell like. But as I'm chewing and eating it, it's just like bland and flat. Like there's absolutely, I can eat fruits, I can eat spicy, I can eat sweet. All of it will taste exactly the same. You have a little bit of the texture, but the flavor wise is all identical. And for me, I was just like, what the fuck is even the point of eating anything like delicious or bad for you, whatever it is, just because I couldn't taste a single thing. And same for Kathy. So I don't know if you ever experienced anything like that before.
No, I haven't experienced it to, I guess, the degree that you're probably feeling it, but it's pretty crazy because like it is, two of your five senses are gone, and when that's gone, I mean, you almost feel like, I'm sure that there's just no gratification, I guess is the right word, in a lot of the things that you do, and especially knowing you, how much we love food, how much we love eating, it becomes even more of an exponential disappointment that you lost your sense of smell and taste, because that makes up for a good chunk of the satisfaction you get in life, I'm sure.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's why even
Yeah.
yesterday when I was talking to Kathy, I was like, so I've read or heard of people who have lost their sense of taste or smell, and most people get it back, but there are some who don't get back either one or both or whatever it is. And then I was telling Kathy, I'm like, fuck, what happens if one of us don't get back our scent or taste? I'm like, when we're traveling around the world, going anywhere, eating, like, what's the point? Like, you can't taste any food anywhere, and it's gonna be so sad or depressing. So that's why it made me a little bit more sad also yesterday's. But I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm hoping that this goes away and we gain back our sense of smell and taste. So my sister Isabel, she actually got COVID also. She lost her sense of taste and smell, I think it was for about a month. So you know what? I'm okay with losing it for a month as long as it comes back. And if it doesn't, I don't know what to do or say after. Like, life is going to be very bland after that, pun intended. And
Yeah.
it's going to be fucking shitty. But again, positive thoughts, and we're going to get through this. One of the other side effects are achy body, and I feel drained. So I woke up this morning feeling exhausted. Like I just finished running a marathon, and my body is sore. It's achy right now. And again, that's why it's not fun. It's not cool. But this is a learning curve for all of us to be more cautious and careful when it comes to COVID. But the reality of it also is, anyone catching COVID today it's not anybody's fault. It really just happens sometimes, like one interaction with one person who seems like they're fine, boom, you have it. And then you start spreading it, and then it just goes around. So it is very, very contagious right now. And it's not fun catching it. So everybody, please try to be safe, be smart, because this is not fun right now. Oh, and the worst part is we have to pretty much isolate for I think 12 days. But what's even shittier is that our two daughters, Athena and Tasia, tested negative for COVID. But what I just found out today, though, is that even though, let's say I'm supposed to get tested again on Saturday the 17th, once I test and if it comes back negative, and if the girls come back negative also, the girls still have to stay in isolation at home for another 10 more days, just in case if they caught it from us at the end of it. So pretty much it means the girls have to be staying home and not leave the house for, I think, almost like 20 some odd days. And it's pretty difficult for Kathy, for me, and for the kids also. We're trying to make the best out of it. So yeah, there's a lot of shitty stuff. Once you catch COVID, you can't go out, you can't eat, you can't have fun. People look at you like you fucking are like some walking disease. They're really scared of you. When they hear you have COVID or had COVID, they just like give you a look and be like, oh, I gotta get the fuck away from this guy. So it's a pretty shitty feeling in that sense. But one of the good things I've also from this whole COVID thing is that when I posted it on Instagram that I had COVID, I got a whole bunch of messages, the outpour of support. More importantly, I had a lot of people who pretty much sent us food and drinks and came to drop off stuff for us, knowing that Kathy and I couldn't get out. So again, that kind of really touched Kathy and I. It showed us like, the friends that are real friends to us, the ones who care, the ones that aren't just, oh, I hope you feel better. There's people who, for example, Diana, Hungry Diana, she literally just made a package of a whole bunch of random stuff, came over and dropped it off without even asking me what I want or need. Because the reality of it is, not to say I don't need anything. You know, when anybody asks you, oh, do you need help? Do you need this? Do you need that? You don't really tell them what you need, because I don't know if I need anything. So it's hard to say I want this or I want that. So for anyone who kind of just came by and dropped off random stuff, I think it's a great gesture. And because of this experience, personally for me, going forward, if I have any friends or family who catch COVID also, I'm going to really make an effort to try to, send food, Uber Eats, send flowers, whatever small gesture it may be, just because it really, really goes a long way. It makes the person at home feel less ostracized, a bit more loved and less disconnected, right? So again, going through COVID, definitely, it opened my eyes for a lot of things. But one of the things, like I said, I really want to do is make sure I support any other friends or family I have who catch it, just because I know what it feels like. And it's not fun when people just ignore you or blame you or whatever it may be for having COVID. So that's my story.
Right. Yeah. No, at the end of the day, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, and that is, being responsible and preventing the spread by staying home and getting better and all that. So at the end of the day, there's not, like, I guess it's almost like, in a way, almost like a rite of passage to really understand, like, okay, who in my friend circle is going to, put blame and stuff on me, and who is actually going to be out there to actually help me and all this stuff. Like, it's pretty interesting, like, how the interactions that come about from you disclosing that you have COVID, like how people react to it. And it really just sometimes does show the true colors of the people that you're hanging around, right?
So what's interesting is that when I told people, or Kathy told people we have COVID, because we posted on Instagram, we had some people message us or tell us just, oh wow, you're very honest for sharing that you have COVID, and we canceled appointments that we had with a whole bunch of people, and they were just like, oh wow, you're so honest on canceling it, and you chose not to like hide it from me and just make me come here and do this or meet you, whatever it was. And then for me, I was just like, what do you mean I'm like honest? Like, isn't this what everybody's supposed to fucking do? And for the people who are asking, saying, oh, you're so honest, I guess I'm assuming that if ever you caught it, you would not tell people. Is that what it is? Is that why they feel or think that we're honest about it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you kind of, especially if you're a real friend to somebody, if you caught COVID, it would probably be a good idea to let them know, it's like, hey, heads up, I got COVID, so maybe you should just be careful.
Yeah. Oh, and also another thing I wanted to share about this whole COVID experience is the antigen rapid test. Not to say that those don't work or that it's a garbage test. So with the antigen rapid test, so what happened was pretty much Kathy and I went to get tested. The next morning, I got a positive result doing a PCR test. So what it means is they took my swab, sent it to the laboratory, and it came back as positive. So as soon as that happened, I called a guy to come to our place. He does antigen rapid test. He did it for all 4 of us. And after he did all 4 of us came out as negative through his machine, which was inaccurate, because not too long after, Kathy got an email from the hospital saying she's positive. So she was going through like an emotional roller coaster where, shit, David's positive, but luckily the antigen test says I'm not, I'm negative. And then 15 minutes later, she gets an email saying she's positive. So it was like a roller coaster of emotions for her. Mm-hmm. So again, I strongly do believe that there are a lot of people who are walking around with COVID, either not knowing that they have it because either they've done like a rapid test, which says that they do not have it. But again, if you don't have symptoms, the rapid test will not detect COVID in you. So that's why doing a PCR test is so much more accurate and important. Again, so pretty much people walking around with without knowing it. But also, I think, after realizing all this, I think there are actually quite a bit of people who are going around with COVID, somewhat knowing that they have it. But I think a lot of these people are people who can't stay home and isolate for 14 days because they need to go to work. So there are some people who can work from home on their computer at an office and they still get paid, not a problem at all. But what about all the people who need to be at work to physically make money? Let's say people who, massage therapists, or people who are doing eyelashes or nails, or people who are hairstylists, all these jobs, if you're not at the workplace servicing your customer, getting paid, you're not getting paid at all. So I strongly believe that there are quite a few people who are in the situation who choose to still go out and try to be extra cautious and safe, even though they have symptoms, because they cannot afford to stay home. So that's my honest opinion, how I feel about it, just because, again, digging more into this, I realized that there's a lot more people that we knew that have or had COVID. And it was not known until, I guess, we start asking stuff pretty much.
Well, this is why it's important, regardless, for you to still maintain those public health orders to, stay 2 meters apart, to basically mask up, because you really just don't know, because somebody could be carrying it and get a PCR test done, or sorry, a antigen test done from a rapid machine, which are not always as sensitive as getting it done through a PCR test at a hospital lab. So, like even once you get your vaccine and stuff like that, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting sort of next few years, even, of how we slowly figure out how we interact with each other. Because part of the reason why, these public health measures are in place, where you have to mask up and keep your distance, is because there potentially are people who may have done that antigen test and thought they were okay, but they're actually not. Right?
Absolutely.
So,
That's 100%. I am sure there are a lot of people who did the antigen test, got a false negative, and they went around spreading it, again, unknowingly. And that's why from my personal experience, I don't know if I would do another antigen rapid test, just because of, not to say how inaccurate it is, but if you don't have symptoms, don't do it. But if you do have the symptoms and do it, I think you have a much higher chance of being able to get an accurate result. So that's a difference. Is really what I'm trying to say.
yeah, for sure. Just basically be cautious, because this stuff is everywhere right now. So I think that's pretty much what we have to talk about, Dave?
That sums up everything, guys.
We should let David rest.
Yeah, pretty much. Honestly, you have no idea. Again, I really wanted to cancel like 7 times before getting on the mic with you today, but I'm happy that I did it. I'm happy we got to talk this through. Hopefully, we're able to share some information with people regarding the whole LFG challenge. Hopefully, people join and decide to make a decision that will change their life. And also, again, knowing all the stuff about COVID and how the symptoms and the antigen test, hopefully people are learning a few things here and smarten up when it comes to COVID and getting tested. And again, honestly, the moment you feel something is off, guys, please go get tested. I know it sucks to isolate 10 12 days at home because of COVID, but what even sucks more is just spreading COVID to people, and unintentionally you could possibly get someone else who could die from it. And that's really the main thing, is what we're trying to prevent, right? So
yeah. All right, Dave, we're going to let you go so you can get some rest. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you got something useful out of this episode today. So,
and hopefully you guys decide to join the LFG challenge, because if you do, I will be seeing you there. Phil as well.
Awesome. And you know how to reach us. Just basically our social media handles are all on our website. That's knowyourpotential.com, NGOyourpotential.com. And please like, subscribe, and we'll see you again next time.
Great talking to you guys. Have a great one.